No problem. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hey, fam. I'm not going to redo this video again, so we're going to continue with this role play. What's going on, guys? It's Jay Lobos coming back to you guys with another episode. And right now, obviously, I got up early this morning. One of the things that I wanted to go ahead and do for one of my customers is try to help her to resolve a debt that she has with Calvary. As a matter of fact, there's a debt that was bought from Citibank. And Citibank actually, this was an account that was charged off. The account went into collections. It got picked up by Calvary. Then Calvary actually ended up hiring Levine and Palma, which is an attorney's office. It's a collection attorney's office. And she's obviously concerned. She is a customer of ours. And one of the things that we do is that we try to give as much clarity as possible so that people are not feeling intimidated. So if you guys out there right now that obviously are watching the channel for the first time, obviously in this channel, we talk about credit, we talk about finance, and I give you guys a lot of information and knowledge so you can empower yourself so that you can help yourself out. And as a matter of fact, right now, if you're in a situation where you've been summoned to court, if you're in a situation that you had an account that you ended up not paying, it went into a collection, it got charged off, and now you're being summoned to court, or somebody right now is either trying to serve you, either they're going to your job, they went to your home, what do you do? So one of the things that I always tell people, especially that I am, first off, not an attorney. I'm not going to pretend that I am, but I have a lot of experience, just given the fact that I'm the owner of a credit repair company, and we've been able to help over 30,000 people. And through these situations, part of what we do is obviously educate. And a lot of people go through situations, because keep in mind, guys, there's going to be two things in your credit. There's a financial aspect of something, which in this particular case is something that worries us, or in this case is something that they can go ahead and sue you. And there's going to be, situations where if you don't address that, and one of the first things that I always tell people, especially if it has to do with litigation, it has to do with appearing to court, my first suggestion and advice, try to get a consumer attorney. So for you guys out there that are maybe in a different state, we're here in the state of Florida. I actually have a buddy of mine, Daniel Tam, super awesome, phenomenal. He actually closes down collection companies when they don't oblige by specific rules and regulations, and when they do things out of the norm or out of the rules. Obviously, we're really on point on top of that. But nevertheless, if you guys are in a different state that's not Florida, consult with a consumer attorney if you're obviously being or going through a process of being sued. Because that's really important, because what happens is if you don't get legal counsel and if you don't make it to the courthouse, or if you don't contact that company, then they can literally go ahead and award that judgment to the creditor. And in this particular case, they could grab that judgment and take it to that next level of doing either a garnishment of wages, a bank levy. They could even take away your tax money. So there's going to be a lot of repercussions that are going to happen if you don't take action. One of the things that I always tell people, and I love this saying, it actually comes from Steve Bezos, the owner of Amazon. The reason why we stress out a lot, or the definition of stress, or at least his definition of stress, is lack of action. So with all that said, we have to take massive action and address these concerns as soon as possible. Yes, one of the things that I would have loved is for me to have been able to engage, because a lot of people tend to act or react once they're kind of really deep in the hole. And what I mean by that is, obviously, if we've been able to do an investigation, which obviously we're in the process now, and not only that, we're obviously helping her to challenge and dispute this information, because even though that you have this negative or derogatory item, removing the derogatory item, which is what we're going to be doing using the rules and regulations, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, to remove this, it doesn't dismiss the debt or the balance. That's where this judgment, that's where this summon is coming into play, and she's obviously concerned. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some advice too as well, so that you guys could go ahead and prepare yourself going forward if this is happening to you, or if you've defaulted on certain debt, know that they can do these things to you. So one of the things that you should do if you do get served or you did get summoned, and again, I'll do another video on different grades or levels of severity or importance, I would say, when it comes to addressing these things. Because sometimes people get, oh, I got this letter from in the mail. It's a regular letter and it looks like it has an attorney letterhead. But it might not be so important. As a matter of fact, some of them is just propaganda, because a lot of information is literally public record. And even though that attorneys, they even have access to different platforms, LexisNexis information, that's a system where your data furnishers are able to pull data from it. In this particular case, also attorneys and court officials, public officials, government officials have access to this. And then they could literally track you or find information. So in this case, it could be propaganda. So the one that I'm referring to is if you got served, if you got that little stack of paper, you got the bill of sale, you got the receipt in the back that comes with that last statement of the statement that they got from the creditor, and it's telling you that it's been sold, or there's a master contract, that's the one that I'm referring to. That's the one that you have to really pay attention to. Number one thing, contact your consumer attorney in your state. If you guys need any information, if you're in the state of Florida, you're watching this, contact us here at Builder Strategies, and I'll put you in contact with my boy, one of the best in the States, Daniel Tam, nevertheless, to help you out. The second thing that I would encourage, if you want to take this upon yourself, have an open line of communication. Contact the creditor yourself. One of the things that I do with my customers, I tell them, listen, go ahead and contact the collection company or the attorney's office or whatever, and just let them know that I'm going to be calling them, and give me authorization to act on your behalf and to speak to them. Because again, there's things that they know. The creditors and the banks, guess what? They have attorneys. So you need the same type of representation or type of assistance. And that's some of the things that we specialize in here in Builder Strategies, that we're able to provide some clarity, just to know exactly how this process started and where it's at. So one of the things that I try to do for my customers, obviously I try to negotiate their debt. And that's one of the things that you can do yourself as well. If you feel like obviously you're intimidated, then you're going to need legal representation or somebody like myself to be able to mitigate this process. So going into that, second thing that I want to go ahead and highly encourage for you to do is try to catch it as early as possible. Don't wait. And I know sometimes these things and we procrastinate. No, you have to act as soon as possible. I have a strategy when it comes to actually negotiating debt, but it takes a little bit, at least 2 weeks. Because we want to make sure that we're not going with the first offer they're giving us. Nevertheless, we're going to have to be responsible adults and eventually pay this off. So there's no way to get around this. And once they appoint that judgment to the creditor, they will take that to the next level. And they're going to go for max. So if you catch it before, obviously you haven't gone to court, you can literally avoid going to court by speaking to them directly and letting them know, listen, tell them the situation. We're all going through this COVID situation, COVID-19. A lot of people have lost their jobs. You have a lot of obligations. If you have children, you're not receiving the income that you had. Maybe you've lost hours. Maybe your spouse lost hours. Maybe your spouse is not working anymore. These are things that you could leverage and negotiate with the creditor when it comes to speaking to them or the attorney's office for them to give you a better price or a better offer. So that's another thing too. Don't take what they're giving you as is. Sometimes they tend to break the total in different ways. I don't want you to break the total. I need for you to bring the balance down, because I'm not in a financial situation or in a place to be able to pay that off. And even when you've broken that down and you've gone from $5,000 to $2,500, usually they're able to go ahead and get as much wiggle room. But for the most part, they're authorized at least to 35%. 35% is like a industry standard, I would say, of saving. Keep going. This is why you need to catch it early in the stages. And then continue to, there's a process, and I'm going to make another video regarding this. So for you guys out there that obviously are watching this, very, very important. Get in contact with a consumer attorney. This way, if you could avoid before going into the courts, because also they're going to charge you court fees as well. They'll include that as part of the process of the arrangement, so that you could go ahead and avoid any repercussions. Try to get that at the beginning. Have a conversation with them. Speak to them. They're regular people. It's somebody's cousin, aunt, mother, brother. They're regular people. Just because they have a title doesn't mean anything, guys. And they're just trying to resolve a matter. And the matter is that they have a service or a business where they're acquiring debt from a creditor that wasn't able to get the money needed from you. So now they had to get counsel, and they're going through legal processes. So that's really what it is. It's just a process for them to acquire that money. But you have a right to be able to negotiate that. And so I'm going to highly encourage for you guys to negotiate as much as possible. Again, too, very, very important. Last thing is, if you're going to go ahead and make a payment, try to get what's called a payment for deletion. You want something in writing that says that after you paid it off, that the information will be deleted from your credit. So nevertheless, again, too, one of the things that I always tell people, before you get into any kind of negotiation or debts or paying off collections, pull your report and make sure that the information is on your report. Sometimes people tend to pay off that was never in your report from the beginning, and you're literally paying off things that at the end, they would have never taken it to that next level. Guys, I hope this video is very informative, and till the next time, thank you so much for the love and support. Take care. Good luck.